So this is Rule 614, Colorado Rules of Evidence, Rule 614. Calling and interrogation of witnesses by court. Calling and interrogation of witnesses by court. So either side, the prosecution or the defense, can call up witnesses, but the court, the judge, can call up witnesses himself. A. Calling by court. The court may, on its own motion or at the suggestion of a party, call witnesses, and all parties are entitled to cross-examine witnesses thus called. B. Interrogation by court. The court may interrogate witnesses, whether called by itself or by a party. Objections to the calling of witnesses by the court or to interrogation by it may be made at the time or at the next available opportunity when the jury is not present. Federal rule identical. I'm going to talk about the annotation, but I'm going to read these rules a little bit slower so I can actually hear them instead of reading them perfectly for you. A. Calling by court. The court may, on its own motion or at the suggestion of a party, call witnesses, and all parties are entitled to cross-examine witnesses as called. So the court could say, and this would make sense, right? If you, let's say you have a conflict between two people, and it's just, he said, she said. It's just his word versus my word, or your word versus her word, or his word, her word versus somebody's word versus somebody else's word. Well, you're going to need witnesses. You're going to need somebody else, a third party, right? One thing that you could bring in is a psychologist. What was the state of mind of, person A? What was the state of mind of person B? And by your, psychology expert, your psychologist, fucking psychoanalytical psychiatry, fucking expertise, what say ye? What say ye? So if the judge calls for a psychologist to say, okay, what was your state of mind and what was your state of mind, you get to cross-examine that psychologist and ask them a bunch of questions and thoroughly cross-examine them. B. Interrogation by court. The court may interrogate witnesses, whether called by itself or by a party. So the judge could actually ask questions, and it says it could interrogate. When I think about asking questions, I think that you can probe people. Okay, what about this? What about this? But you can't, it's not an inquisition. Oh, where were you on the night of October 13th? What were you doing on October 16th, 2022? So the court can interrogate witnesses, they said, whether called by itself or by a party. So that means they can ask questions of the witnesses called by the defense or the prosecution. So I don't know if the judge knows that, if any judge knows that. I don't know if any judges in the whole world know this. But the witnesses that come in, they're allowed to ask a question or two. It's not their case. They're there to just make sure everything, but to clarify a thing, to clarify a point, to clarify a fact, to make sure that their testimony is as precise as we could possibly get. Objections to the calling of witnesses by the court or interrogation of it may be made at the time or the next available opportunity when the jury is not present. Court's prerogative and duty to question witnesses. Here's some annotation, okay? Court's prerogative and duty to question witnesses. A trial court has the prerogative and sometimes the duty to question witnesses called by a party. Wow. People v. Ray, Colorado Appeals, 1981. People v. Ray, 1981. The trial court may interrogate witnesses regardless of which party has produced them. It is sometimes the court's duty to question witnesses to develop the truth more fully and to clarify testimony. Eggert v. Mosler, Safe Co., 730, Colorado Appeals, 1986. So again, the judge has a goddamn duty to ask the fucking questions. We got to get to the truth, motherfucker. How can you sit there and have a justice system that doesn't give a shit about the truth? That ain't a justice system. We're just going to pick that person. Why? Well, they're our buddy. We don't know the other one. Well, that's not justice. That's not based on truth. So we're corrupt. I know this. That's what I'm trying to say. We protect just our friends and family and the wealthy and other cops and lawyers and people part of the system, but not the people, not the public. I know. That's corruption. No fucking way. You go to a scene and two people are arguing and you don't know who either two of the people are, even if you kind of know one person. You're supposed to err on the side of the person who called you, right? Questions by court are not improper where purpose is to more fully develop truth and to clarify testimony already given. People v. Ray, Colorado Appeals 19. So again, People v. Ray, People v. Ray, People v. Ray, and then Eggert v. Mosler Safe Co. is going to come up again. Eggert v. Mosler, according to the Eggert decision, According to the People v. Ray, Colorado Appeals, according to the 1981 People v. Ray decision, the judge has a prerogative and duty to question witnesses. And then according to Eggert v. Mosler Safe Company, the judge may interrogate witnesses regardless if it's the defense or the prosecution that's produced them. It's sometimes the court's duty to question witnesses to develop the truth more fully and to clarify testimony. Eggert v. Mosler Safe Company, Colorado Appeals, 1986. Questions by court are not improper where purpose is to more fully develop truth and to clarify testimony already given. People v. Ray. So yeah, for clarification and the truth. So why would the judge ask anybody any questions? For clarification and the truth. And that's important. That's important because everybody who witnessed September 17th is going to be invited to court September 17th, 2021. And there's no eyewitnesses to the warning shots. I fired 3 warning shots straight up into the air. Pow, 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 because the right-wing sovereign movements are a bunch of fucking child-molesting Nazi motherfuckers out there. Criminal motherfuckers, non-stop. And that's what I'm going to prove in April. Questions by the court are not improper where purpose is to more fully develop truth and to clarify. So clarification and the truth. Why would the judge ask? For clarification and the truth. And I hope my judge fucking evolves. Motherfucker asked for a felony last time. Asked the new DA to put a fucking felony on. Why don't you put a felony on him? No, he doesn't understand the golden rule. So if he was a victim in my neighborhood and then they arrested him, he would love it if I took $5,000 from him and then fucking treated him like shit for over a year. Motherfuckers, it's one thing that Robert Pickerel and motherfucking Phil Greene wouldn't let me fucking live my life, but now the system isn't letting me live my fucking life. How the fuck am I supposed to get a goddamn job and do anything? And how the hell y'all pretending that this isn't raping fucking Oksana and Abraham? That's exactly what the fuck you want. Motherfuckers. You want to steal my board? You want to run me off my fucking claim because you're a bunch of thieving ass fucking criminal fucks? You hate my light. You hate that I got a gate. You hate that I was 6 foot tall. You hate that I went to planning and zoning and did everything lawfully. You hate that I do things on the up and up. It makes you look like a fucking asshole. That bitch ass fucking Noah Spalding, he was sitting there fucking goddamn questioning me whether or not I was racist. I'm not racist. I'm the most anti-racist person in the world. In fact, not only am I not just racist, like, you know, anybody could just not be a racist. That's not good enough. I think we live in a racist society and therefore you have to be anti-racist. You have to be anti-racist. You have to push yourself to make sure that you're not racist. Get out of racist circles. Make sure that the people you're hanging out with aren't fucking racist piles of shit. Have conversations about race. See if people are even... Some questions that white people trip on is, what do you think of black folks? See, a simple question, really. They're cool. They're like everybody else. They're people, too. What do you think about black folks? But people get too discombobulated with that goddamn question. Fucking telling on themselves. Well, I'm not a racist. I didn't even say that. If you like black folks, it'd be easy to be like, you know, and if maybe you don't know them, maybe you know a couple, maybe you said, well, there's 2 of them that I like, but there was this one, he was kind of a jerk and really rubbed me the wrong way. Nobody's accusing you of shit. What do you think of black folks? If you're not a racist, then you should easily be able to say Black Lives Matter. And of course they matter. That's not even enough. Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. Everybody's fucking life matters, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Black lives do matter, but black lives are very important, just like the community. Solidarity. All for one and one for all. That person who got gunned down by the police, that black man who got gunned down by the police might have cured cancer, you piece of shit. But because you don't know right from wrong, you just stopped cancer from being cured so you could fucking be a thug, so you could be authoritarian, fucking violent piece of shit. Test to be applied when court interrogates witnesses is whether the trial court's conduct so departed from the required impartiality as to deny the defendant a fair trial. People v. Ray, Colo Appeals 19. He should be happy. Oh, you're not a racist? No, actually, Not only am I not a racist, I'm an anti-racist, so I'm more anti-racist than you piece of shit. Are you doing enough, motherfucker? Yeah, you ain't doing enough, motherfucker. You heard that I had 11% black blood, so you're going to go after Frederick Douglass. You're going to go after Rosa Parks. You're going to go after Harriet Tubman. You're going to go after Fred Hampton. You're going to go after my great-grandmother, my black great-grandmother. What the hell did my black great-grandmother do to you? What the fuck did my black great-grandmother ever do to any one of you motherfuckers, you racist piles of shit? Sit there and pretend that she never existed. I got 11% black blood, and I hope it pisses all you motherfuckers off. Test to be applied when court interrogates witnesses is whether the trial court's conduct so departed from the required impartiality as to deny the defendant a fair trial. So the judge can ask a question here, and I would say ask probing questions, and maybe even inquisitional questions, but you're not running the show. You're the referee. Sometimes the referee has to stop the fucking show and do a slow motion replay. You got to get it right. If you're a good referee, you got to get it right. If you're a shit referee and you put you cheated for one fucking side, you took a fucking bribe, you put the thumb on the scales of justice on one side over the other, you're not a fair fucking judge. To be an even-handed and fair judge, to be even-handed is that not the pinnacle of what a judge is to? So the judge can ask questions, but the judge can't run the show, and the judge can't run the show to where he's clearly on one motherfucker's side and not the other. No, Anne Frank, you should have listened to your mother. Well, the mother came into Anne Frank's room to tell her that she's too old enough to not allow Daddy to give her a peck on the cheek anymore. So Anne Frank did get mad at her mother, but her mother was on some bullshit. Her mother was lying. Her mother didn't want to read her a story. Her mother was trying to spare her father the feelings of telling Anne himself that she was too grown. He didn't want to say it to her. He sent the wife, and then Anne got mad at the mother. So does Anne Frank deserve to be thrown into a concentration camp to where she gets raped and she gets syphilis and then she gets starved to death? Is that justified? I mean, she's guilty, right? She got mad at her mother. Honor thy father and thy mother. And so I could see how some authoritarian piece of shit can be like, oh, you gotta obey, as if Anne Frank getting mad at her mother is any close to the crimes of the Nazis. Can you tell the difference between something that's petty and misdemeanor and something that's a felony? Kidnapping somebody and putting them in a fucking pen until they catch syphilis and then they starve to death? Can you tell that that's the crime? Her getting mad at her mother, she should have got mad at her mother. And maybe, her mother tried to even make her feel bad about, oh, love can't be forced. You're on some bullshit. You didn't want me to read the story. You didn't want to read the story to me. When you want to come in here and read the story to me because you care about me, then that'd be awesome. But you're coming in here as daddy's little fucking bitch boy, as daddy's little patsy, as daddy's little fucking minion. You come in here as daddy's minion. He don't want to tell him to man the fuck up and tell me myself because you coming in here doing his fucking dirty work for him and then making me feel bad like, well, love can't be forced. That's bullshit. That's not fair. That's not fair. When you genuinely can give a shit, and, I can understand it, she's thinking that her father loves her, and so her mother's sitting there trying to tell her that, no, your father isn't going to love you anymore. Did you come up with this decision? Who made this decision? This is bullshit. And she tried to do her best to articulate it. It's also in the middle of fucking Nazi Germany, so shit. Sanchez v. Laufenberger, Colorado Appeals, 1989. Eggert v. Mosler Safe Company, Colorado Appeals, 1986. People v. Ray, Colorado Appeals, 1981. Applied in People in Interest of Archuleta, Colorado Appeals, 1982. People in Interest of Archuleta. How's that a fucking... who versus who? People in Interest of Archuleta applied. That's a weird named title. Usually it's something People v. Ray, Eggert v. Mosler Safe Company, Sanchez v. Laufenberger. People v. Ray, Eggert v. Mosler Safe Company, and People v. Ray. That People v. Ray comes back over and over again, but we need both of them. I guess we need all of them to sort of say, the judge has a duty, a prerogative, to ask the witnesses to get to the truth and to clarify their position. That's your position. So you're not trying to force a person. I had this one fucking cop. This is in Louisville, Kentucky, and this is when I ran for lieutenant governor of Kentucky. But I had got raped in jail, and I went to file that's a crime, right? I'm the only person that apparently thinks rape is a crime in Louisville, Kentucky. When I went to the clerk, she had a fucking big deal about it, and then she told me go over here, over there. And then when I was driving to the guy, eventually they're going to send me to some fucking asshole who really wanted to talk to me, and he kept calling me like a predator, like a fucking violent piece of shit predator who wanted to put his fucking hands on me. And so I'm trying to report a rape. I'm trying to report a crime. But because it's a jailer who did it, a Louisville jailer, there's penetration. And in a fair society, since I was the victim, then the culprit would have to go down, but I don't live in a fair society. A bunch of Nazi fucks are going to be on the side of authoritarian Nazi fuck who's got a badge. Who gives a shit if he's in the right or wrong? Just fucking bullshit. Some people say my country right or wrong. I don't like that. I say right no matter what. You come correct or you don't come at all. Come right and proper and correct. Or you don't come at all. You come right, proper, good and correct, or you don't fucking come at all, motherfucker. God damn. Nick number 2 actually told me about come correct. And I like that. There's several things Nick number 2. There's several things I like about Nick number 2. He seems to have a better, I don't know. I feel like if you get to a point where you kind of don't trust anybody and you think that you kind of have to manhandle everybody, it makes me think that he's had a tough life. Because that's not the way it ought to be. So, a part of me, if I can just get over my ego, I think I can actually learn some things from him. But, what was I trying to say? Yeah, he said come correct. He also said that when you put water in a hole and then let it soak and then you dig in and then do it again. That's a good way to dig a hole. Especially out here with this tough-ass fucking sandy loam. So, you come correct. That's good. Here's a good way to, and he also said love. At the end of the day, it's about love. But love is a weakness. They're the lumpen proletariat. And the revolution is going to need a lumpen proletariat. So, I could forgive them. It's going to take me a while. Because I was kind to you motherfuckers. I was acting like Jesus, right? Turning the other cheek and being kind, and you all fucking was on some dumb shit. I'm supposed to fucking be kind? If you were me, would you be kind to you? Not if you had any sense. Every time he's kind to us, we're just shitty. How come he's not kind to us no more? Maybe because you were shitty every time? You think I might have been it? So there you go. Rule 614, calling and interrogation of witnesses by court. Coming up next, Rule 615, exclusion of witnesses.